Hello everybody, it's challenge time again. And this week you can see that the challenge is going to be something to do with the kitchen. Big clue being that I'm wearing an apron in order to protect my clothes from all the mess that gets created while I'm making a really nice recipe, which is chocolate brownies. Now, before we start, I'm going to show you some of the things that you're going to need in order to be able to make this recipe. The first thing you need are a set of scales in order to be able to weigh out your ingredients. Okay. You're going to need a cake tin. Now this one is aluminium, okay, and it's round, but it doesn't have to be aluminium and it doesn't have to be round. That's just my choice. Okay. You need to have a glass bowl like this one. This one's quite big. It doesn't have to be this big. And you need a pan in order to have boiling water. This is called a bain-marie, and it's a way that we melt chocolate and butter together in order to add it into the mixture at the end. We also need vegetable paper, and the vegetable paper is used simply just to line the inside of our tin, no matter what shape, no matter what the tin is made of. Now, the next thing you're going to need are the ingredients, the things that make up your brownies. Okay? And this is a list, or this is an example of all of the stuff that you're going to need. Okay? I'm just going to go through them bit by bit. You're going to need some plain white flour. Okay, there it is. You're going to need some butter. Okay, and butter without salt is preferable. You need some dark chocolate. Now, you can see all of this comes from Mercadona. There's nothing special. Okay, and anything more than 70% is good to go. Okay, you need cocoa powder, and there it is. Okay, you can get that in Mercadona as well. What we call caster sugar. Okay, again, you can see where it comes from. And you need 3 eggs. Okay, and they can come from anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Those are the ingredients that we use. Okay, the next thing will be showing you how to use them. So, having got all our materials together, what we have to do now is to start using them and to create the basis for our brownies. The first thing that I tend to do is to take the vegetable paper and line my dish. Just one sheet of paper is enough. As you can see, because I have a round dish, I have to adjust it slightly by pushing the paper down inside and then cutting around the outside so that it all fits together neatly. So there we have it. There's the tin, which has been lined with vegetable paper. Not the neatest job in the world, but that's not important. The fact is that it is lined. So I put the baking tin to one side because I'm not going to need it for a while. And what I'm going to do now is to get all my ingredients together and to get them weighed. Now I like to get everything prepared beforehand, so I have various bowls that I put my stuff in. And then once I've got everything together and everything organized, then I start the baking process. So I start with the chocolate. So 150 grams of dark chocolate, and here we go. There's 150 grams, 100 in a packet, so that's 1.5 packets. That's, simple math. We just use that. So there we are, 150 grams of dark chocolate. You'll notice that the chocolate is broken up, and the reason for that is that when I go to melt it, it's much easier when it's broken up into smaller pieces than it's in one big large piece. Now, those of you who've done our topic on healthy eating will realize that adding a whole load of sugar into our recipe is not the healthiest thing in the world, and definitely brownies are not healthy eating. A treat for once in a while or something to share, not to guzzle as much as you can. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to add 300 grams of caster sugar. Caster sugar is very fine sugar. You can use ordinary white sugar if you like, but this is definitely better. And there it is, that entire tub of caster sugar is in now, 300 grams. And we move on to the cocoa powder, and we only need 40 grams of cocoa powder. So I'm going to weigh that out and put that in a bowl as well. Again, 40 grams, we take it and we just put it into a bowl so that we can use it later on. Here we go. Now, I always try to use the dry ingredients first, because if I was weighing butter into here, then all of my ingredients would stick to the inside of the bowl. So I leave that to last. The next thing I'm going to move on to is to get the white flour. There we are, the plain white flour, 75 grams of plain white flour. So 75 grams of the plain white flour, again into a bowl. Here we go. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of cocoa powder in there. They're all going to get mixed together in the recipe anyway. Okay, we have two more ingredients. That is the butter and the eggs. So I'll start with the butter and get that weighed out. And we need quite a lot of the butter. We need 175 grams. That's a lot. So 175 grams of butter. And like the chocolate, because we're going to melt it, the best thing to do with the butter is to cut it up into small pieces. Then it will melt more evenly and more quickly. All right, there's the butter that's chopped up, ready to go. So we're going to put that to one side like everything else. And then our final ingredient is going to be 3 eggs, which we're going to crack and put them into a bowl together. And there you are, 3 eggs ready. All my ingredients, all set out, ready to go. The thing to do now is to start putting them together. What I always start with, though, is to get my oven heated. And so I'm going to turn it up to 180 degrees and just get it warming up while I get everything else done. Now, the next stage of the operation is when we start to put the ingredients together and to start cooking. And at this stage, I think it's important that you have your parents around, because you're dealing with boiling water and we've got a naked flame. So basically what we do is we get some water and we put it into the bottom of a pan down here. Then we put a glass bowl on top and we try to make sure that there's hardly any touching of the water with the bowl. Okay? We then turn on the flame and we keep it at a very, very low heat, just to keep the water bubbling over. And then what happens then is that we put the butter and the chocolate into the bowl, which I'm going to do right now. So here comes the chocolate, and that's all going in. Okay. And next we take all the butter and we put that in. If it will come off, that would be really nice. But of course, there's always some that wants to stick. So I'm going to have to put this down and unstick it. Hang on a second. And there we go. That's all the butter and the chocolate together. Remember, I called this a bain-marie, which is the name that we give it. Okay. Now, once I put on the heat, it's slowly going to melt. Okay. We want it to melt quite gently. We don't want the things to separate, and we don't want to spoil the chocolate. So it has to be a gentle process. And now, after a few minutes, almost all of the ingredients have melted away to form a liquid. There's a little bit of chocolate still there, a little bit of butter. So we just keep stirring until eventually, within the next minute or two, all of that will be a nice, smooth mixture of butter and chocolate. And although you can't smell it, I have to tell you that the smell is absolutely delicious. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing this for a couple of minutes. And once it's all ready, which it will be very, very swiftly, I'm going to put it aside, as I said, for about 20 minutes to cool down. Because if we pour it in with the eggs, what will happen is that if it's too hot, it'll cook the eggs, which is really not what we want. Okay, so it's just about done now. Okay. And there we have it. Lovely, smooth mixture of butter and chocolate. Okay, and I'm going to put it to one side to cool, and then we can get rid of the pot. My next task is to mix the sugar and the eggs, and I put them together in a large bowl, and then I have to mix them using, well, I use an electric hand whisk, okay, which is this. If you can see it, there it is. You can use it anything you like to mix it, but I find this quite useful and convenient. Okay, so they're all going into this big bowl here, and then I'm going to mix them. And there they are, looking sufficiently unhealthy, all that sugar and those lovely eggs. Okay, I'm going to take the whisk now and I'm going to beat them until they form a nice mousse. Here we are, mixing away. Just one word of warning, if you put the mixer on too fast, you can get sugar coating all over the kitchen. It just sprays everywhere. So don't have it too fast, and try to make sure that all of the sugar is mixed in with the eggs. Don't leave little patches of it around, just get it all stirred in there. Okay, now we come to the more interesting bit. We've got the beaten eggs and the sugar here, and we've got the chocolate here, and what we have to do next is we have to mix the two together. So I'm going to start off by taking the spoon out, move that to one side, okay, and using one hand, although obviously it should be better if I'm using two, I start to pour the mixture in. Okay, so there it is, all pouring in. Okay, and when I've done that, then I have to take a big metal spoon and I have to fold them together. Not stir them briskly, but just gently mix the two together. Okay. When I have the chocolate mixed in, what I then have to do is I have to start folding it together. Just gently, not stirring it too quickly. Just as it says, folding it in. And then just bring it in from the edges. Get it all mixed up. It actually looks great and it smells pretty good too. Okay? At this stage, lovely. Just keep mixing it in, folding it in until it's all blended together. And when we finish that, then we start adding another couple of dry ingredients. We add in the flour and we add in the cocoa powder. And we have to put them through a sieve so that we put them in there nice and... Oops, that's it. So that the dry ingredients that we add next don't have any lumps in it. It's nice and fine. That's looking good. That's looking very good now. Okay, it does suggest that we add a little pinch of salt, and a pinch of salt is exactly that. Just get a tiny bit of salt between your finger and thumb and just put it into the mixture. Okay? And if it says put in a pinch of salt, that's exactly what I'm doing now. Not too much, just a tiny bit. Okay? Now, having got that, I need to get my sieve, which I happen to have over here. Here it is. And I put it over. And then I get my flour and I put the flour in there. And gradually, just gently sift that flour through so that it's fine. There's no lumps. Okay, we get that done. This will be, and that's my flour sprinkled over the top. And the next thing I do is I get the cocoa powder and I do exactly the same thing. So the cocoa powder is here. I add it in. Get rid of the bowl. And again, I just shake it gently until it all goes through without any lumps. And I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. So I'll just get rid of those wee lumps in there. Get rid of that. And there we have all my ingredients all mixed together. And now just gently fold them together. Again, don't go thrashing at it. Just fold it in nice and steadily. Just keep it going. Okay. It's not perhaps looking at its most appetizing at the moment, but just you wait. Okay, so I'm going to stop now just while I carry on mixing until I've got it into a nice smooth paste. Then I'll show you again before I pour it into the cake tin. And here we've got the mixture now. You can see it's got that beautiful dark browny brown color. And so I'm just about ready. Just get a little bit more stirring. I'm just about ready to pour that into the cake tin. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now that I've got my glamorous assistant holding on to the camera for me, I can use two hands in order to do this. So I'm going to gently pour all of this yummy, gooey mess into my cake tin. Okay, make sure I take as much out of here as possible. I don't want to leave stuff in the bowl. That would be a terrible waste. So I just keep pouring it. And you can see how it spreads out, okay, and fills up my cake tin. It doesn't have to fill right to the top. There's no, there's no rule that says it has to go right to the top. Just fill it in, keep going, filling it up, filling it up. Okay, I'm going to scrape as much out of here as I possibly can because I hate wasting it. It's too good to waste. And so just get as much out of there as possible. I think that's more or less it. Pour it in. A bit more. And just get that. Okay, there we have it all in there. So I'm just going to smooth it out a bit. Just try and make sure that it fills up as evenly as possible, because the more even it is, the more evenly it will bake, and that's important. Okay. Oh, I almost want to lick that. Now, the oven has been heated at 180 degrees, okay, and the idea is to put this in, and the recipe tells me I have to do it for 30 minutes. But the last time I did it for 30 minutes, I thought it was a little bit underbaked. And so I'm going to put it in for 35 minutes at 180, and then when it's finished, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay? This is the moment of truth. We've got oven gloves on because I'm taking something hot out of the oven. I want to protect myself. Okay? So here we go. Let's have a look. It's supposed to be a little bit wobbly, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over here so that it can cool down. Now one of the things that I have found is that if your brownie is really, really runny, and it's maybe a bit too runny, if you stick it in the fridge and leave it overnight, the next day it is absolutely stunningly good. Okay? So there we are. That's my chocolate brownie. Okay? I hope that you guys enjoy making your own, have fun, and you can post pictures of your chocolate brownies. We'll find a page. Miss Castro will find a page. Okay? There you go, guys. Have lots of fun. That's the challenge for this week. Bye.